Hello, please enter your 6-digit conference code. Welcome to free conference calling. The conference has not started. If you are the host, please enter your 4-digit host code to open the conference. If you are not the host, please press the star key to connect to the conference and wait. We will now connect you to your call. Please say your name. Your host has yet to join. Thank you for waiting. Your host has yet to join. Thank you for waiting. We will now connect you to your call. The host has joined the conference. Conference recording started.
Interesting. Response to 5 burglar alarms from the PD. I guess those burglar alarms will be part of our alarm policy.
Are they legit ones?
I don't know, it doesn't say. We have 11 domestic animal complaints.
Oh, 11 pictures.
Nine welfare checks. Who's doing the welfare checks? The PD or the fire department?
many times welfare checks is because Susie Q called because she couldn't get anybody to answer the phone at her parents' house. And so she called the police because and they just banged on the door and said, it's okay. That's general welfare check.
So two different things going on.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Alrighty. Little note here, not to put your propane tank with your light metal. Guess the transfer station somewhere, not ours. Managed to put one in, it made up mix, went into the shredder,
Ooh.
and boom!
So which one did it go into?
I don't know, it says, dear NRRA member, today one of our scrap metal vendors had one of the worst explosions in history at their shredder. So it just went on to explain that no one was injured and the propane tank went through. Well, I guess it's just a reminder for all of us here.
Was it a miss on our end?
No,
Okay.
no, was nothing to do with Effingham.
Okay, got it.
And it was missed doubly. Somebody somewhere missed it at their transfer station,
Okay.
and then they missed it at the recycling for metal somewhere.
This culvert looks like it's pretty well plugged.
Yeah, it's one of the new ones.
Halfway plugged.
I assume it's one of the new ones. If Tim's sending it, he's over in that.
Right out of his driveway.
Yeah, that's new work. I'll put it on my list.
Yeah, that was one that, but.
Hi, Dave.
Like you've seen the biggest Green Mountain Road, the culverts, is that what you're talking about now?
Yeah, that's what Tom was just into, Mr. White sent in the picture.
Did you get this one already? This one's up.
Seen it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Holy mackerel, I'm glad I wasn't standing near that when that went off. They were feeding the stuff in when the thing blew up. Oh.
Yeah, I gave a copy of that to Mark to the guy.
Thank you, Chris.
The state really screwed up when they did this campground business.
Beeping.
Ryan, do we know if this is quantity, pounds rather? Or the quantity for the recycling? Oh, okay.
Say it again.
For the recycling, for the televisions or whatever, it's got like 2,162. That must be the amount of poundage they haul away?
Yes.
Okay. Mike, one of the things here in the read is with New Hampshire licensed foresters must fill out a Form CU-12 every 5 years. Is that something that our guy does?
I don't honestly know. Gwen would have she would know what the process is on that.
Okay.
And
We should have a report, if it's done every 5 years, we should have a copy of that here, right?
I would think that we being supplied a copy for properties that are being managed in town, and actually I was gonna be quizzing Gwen about that myself, but
Okay.
I don't have that answer. Current use?
Gwen is, gonna be in tomorrow for the work session.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And it's because of a piece of land that is an issue.
Owner unknown.
There's owner unknown.
Yeah.
And she was trying to figure out a decision, and I said finally, you're the assessing assistant. That the assessors are really board of selectmen, they gotta decide what they wanna do on this piece of land, because it appears the town took it by tax deed, but now there's an individual assessors coming in.
Okay, that sounds like we're gonna have to do a deep dive to figure that one out.
Well, the problem is the ownership of going from just what she told me, so I may have some of this incorrect, but apparently it goes back to the time the tax maps were redone.
Mm-hmm.
And the tax map people couldn't figure out who it belonged to, so they left it as owner unknown.
Okay.
And I guess that's really the root of the issue. And then at some point in time, there was a tax deed issued, a tax collector's deed that was issued. And that was issued because of the owner unknown. But apparently the owner thinks he's been paying taxes on it all these years because he owns several. So I said that needed to be before she spent any more money talking to the lawyer.
Yeah.
Indicated that she ought to make the board aware of it, so she's coming in tomorrow during the work session to give me.
Okay. All right. Been down this road before.
Yeah, and I've been told, but it was somewhere in the late 1990s.
And that's where I'm at. I haven't completed the task, but that's where I am.
I think I think if you want to have that force, we just ought to create an ordinance.
No, I can't, well,
I think it's a lot of time that Christine's putting into.
no, I was told there was a binder with all the ordinances in it.
And it's not there in the binder.
Okay,
There's no such order.
that's cool. I'm in agreement. It's like, waste no more time, we'll just do it.
She's going back through minutes and I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a lot of time
Yeah,
for,
that's the closest I got to it.
let's just create an
Yeah.
ordinance, be done with it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, I appreciate it.
Then you get into the question of whether or not we should be doing no through trucking or a weight limit.
Well,
We gotta do both.
I think there's issues with both, Mike. the no-through trucking, I understand, is for Champion Hill Road.
Yeah.
But I think, and I may be wrong, because I've been out driving the roads here, but I think you got weight limits on a lot of roads.
Well, weight limits are supposed to be 30 ton. I don't think we have lesser limits on any roads that I'm aware of.
The only thing is Christine did find minutes where it was 20 tons.
Yeah, this is the
It was only the selectmen's meeting back years ago, there was no ordinance, they just talked about making it 20 tons.
Making them.
Don't know if they ever did or didn't,
I don't.
Can't find
think so,
anything.
But, okay, I'll,
but there is no ordinance that we can find anywhere, it's not in the ordinance book.
right, and I don't think you need an ordinance to post weight restrictions. Like, there's a 30 ton for the town, I think Ospey's 27. I don't think you need an ordinance per se to do
You just
that.
can't enforce it. You need an ordinance to reference from an enforcement standpoint.
I don't know that that's true. From the no-through trucking, I've got it on good authority, that's true,
The weight's gonna be the same.
okay? Something else to follow up on.
Oh, we have a lot of unlicensed dogs.
Yeah,
How many?
What
like 120.
Well, I don't think you'd have to make an ordinance for each road. I think
No.
you'd make a general ordinance that municipal roads are limited to 30 ton, or whatever your decision is. I mean, I used to write it for poundage. I would like to do that rather than tonnage, because the statute talks about the fines for, and it's by pounds over, not tons.
You can tell?
No, I got, thank
I just think it's, judges sometimes are fickle about being able to, make those calculations quickly.
I think I'm gonna look at the hard road to travel and maybe send another email to, Municipal Association. See if, just get some opinion from Mr. Buckley. I've already reached out to him on some of it. Other than that, I'll see if I can't dig into the RSA's wherever he left off. He left me some RSA's, so it might be in the same neighborhood in the book.
Back in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s, towns selectmen couldn't adopt ordinances, only city councils, but
Yeah,
ordinance had to go to town meeting. Back in the early 80s, they changed that law and allowed,
Under
selectmen to,
47, Roman 7, I think, is where you find that the roads, vague authority to the Board of Selectmen equal to the city council. Yeah, there's
City
a
council-
limited amount of.
I think city councils always had it, they added selectmen to that.
Right, exactly, and there's a limited amount of that, that coverage goes for certain things, not everything. Yeah, I've got that pretty well documented in my files. That one, I can get you. How do you get 4,200 gallons out of a 4,000 gallon tank? At least they always tell me it's 4,000 gallons. Pressurized.
It's the new math.
Pressurized. Water compresses real good. That's the set of pistons. All righty. Folders are done. Yeah, we're in order. That's my fault. That's that other movie. You're out of order. You're Hoffman? That was Hoffman.
That's the one you can't handle it.
No, that's who was next. I think it was the dog day after. So this is the breakdown on, the history of the Boston Post cane.
Yeah, we got reading enjoyment. You can take it home.
He might be one of the few towns that still has them.
Yeah.
Well, it's an interesting thing you bring up because I did get contacted today by, Jack Williams.
Yeah.
And he was looking for some information on who should get the 2 plaques made up from the trophy company for the Boston Post canes for the shadow boxes and what the language would be. And he sent an email I think I have here with me. I hope I do. So I'll share that when we get into it. Just looking for a little guidance, he is. And I guess everything's just about done. So we'll have those posted. All right, so we're already through the folders. And I guess we'll make a motion here. I'll make a motion to approve the manifest in the amount of $24,101.86.
Tom, I'll second that.
We have a second. All in favor, please.
Chuck Fuller, aye.
Aye.
Al and I. Signature folder, we had our June 8th, 2020 work session meeting minutes. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll second that.
Oh, do you want to make the first motion?
I'll make the first.
All right, Chuck motion.
I'll motion.
I'll second that.
All righty. I'm throwing it out to you guys to mix it
Yeah,
up.
that's cool.
June 9th, regular meeting minutes. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. Approve June 9, 2020 regular meeting minutes.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Mr. Hart, second. So,
Fuller, aye.
Aye.
Al and I. Okay, we had an intent to cut.
Well, you didn't do the roll call on the 6-8.
Fuller, aye.
I thought we did, but.
Well, let's do it again.
Okay, on June 8th, work session minutes, Cahal and I, Mr. Fuller.
Hot aye.
Hot aye. We have an abatement on the campground again, as things come and go as they do over there. We signed the warrant for, what was it, $157?
Must be,
What's that? Intent to cut.
okay.
Yeah. Oh, thought I got to that. Okay. The warrant for, I think not $157, what was it, $127?
It was like 120.
120 dogs need to be licensed. Okay.
All right.
Letters are going out on those, is that what it is?
Actually, it's certified mail, so it's expensive.
We get that money back?
The dog had to die.
Huh. Hunter's Bridge Road sign out onto Route 25, that's part of Freedom, not Effingham, so we'll move on from that. Mr. White has sent us in a picture, thankfully he's done that, so we can identify a culvert that has some buildup in it on Green Mountain Road. Letter from the town clerk regarding building openings, we should probably cover that one. Deanna would like a little more time to see where the trends are going with COVID. I guess around the country there's some resurgence. Chuck? Sure.
I actually had a discussion with, the Albany chair yesterday,
Oh, Mr. Highland?
Mr. Highland,
Yep.
and they're opening up by appointment only.
Yep.
Temperature checks when you come in the building, and you must wear face masks.
Yep.
So they started to do it. So far, he said it's been working really well.
I'm willing to give Deanna some time to put everything in place, but I know that would be by appointment only, and face masks would be required. So,
Yeah. I mean, I talked to Deanna today when I stopped in,
okay.
so I can,
So I'm gonna say, I don't know exactly what the timeline is that she's looking for here, but,
Just looking for a couple of weeks.
couple weeks.
Yeah, like the end of the month or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, so the end of the month we revisit?
Yeah, and I think we would, buy some red tape and kind of mark the floor and arrows so people are really clear where, hey, this is where you're going, this is where you stand while you're in your activity.
Since we're on that, reopening it, I saw that the governor has removed the restrictions on gatherings of 10 or more people, up to 50, I believe it is. I didn't see anything directly targeting municipalities or that pertain to us directly. A lot of openings are for businesses and there are restrictions there. So, I guess the question would be, do we wanna take another week or two and see if we can find out what we should be doing, as a mandate from the governor's office? Can we continue business this way? Do we open the doors and let people in with, wearing a mask?
I'd rather revisit it, similar to what Deanna said, now that they've opened everything wide open,
Right.
wait 14 days or a couple weeks and figure out what happens.
Yeah, well, that's it, there could be an uptick. So my biggest, my concern here is, are we staying in line with what we're supposed to be doing vis-a-vis public meetings?
Based on what I've heard, yes.
Yeah, I think we are.
All right, so in case something changes or you have some thoughts or come across anything, because I want to make sure we're complying the best we
Yeah, I've been trying to jump on a couple of the webcasts, on a regular basis. They're doing regular webcasts now, like every week or week and a half.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get in on those just to make sure that if there's anything that pops out, we'll bring it forth, but so far we're right in line.
Okay.
And of
Every
course,
bit of news, everybody that's opening up, things back up, numbers are going up.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Brian?
But everybody, regardless, is still supposed to have 6-foot distance and social distancing. And there's no way in this building you could do that, unless you do it by appointment, so that you limit the number of people coming in.
Well, that really kind of highlights the constraints we have here on opening up the meeting to everyone. As much as I'd like to bring them in, it's a double-edged sword if things start to go up and we infect everyone. Or, maintaining the social distancing is obviously a great point because we could not do that.
Yeah, and the library started curbside pickup this last week, so pickup drop-off.
Yeah.
So people can call in, they can order online, they can get their books, they'll be put in a little package. Call ahead, I'm outside, they'll come out, give you the books, pick up the other books, so they started to get back into shape a couple days a week.
All right. So I guess we're still where we need to be. All right, so we had a review on some year-end report from our recycling company, North Coast Services. Current use stewardship review letter, which we'll have a follow-up from Gwen, hopefully tomorrow, to enlighten us just what that really means. Letter to abutters of owning an unknown parcel, and there again, that's another one for Gwen. Certificate of recycling, North Coast Services, again, some more information on breakdowns of what we were able to recycle this year. The call breakdown for Effingham Police Department, we're now getting a little better reporting.
Monthly report.
Yeah. Tom, did you say that you wanted something on police reports?
Yeah, I was looking for it and then I saw it on there.
Does that meet?
Yeah, 'cause I saw it on another site.
Another site?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I want to know why it's out there before it's here. That we didn't see it, 'cause that was the first I saw it. Now I see it.
So you're good with where we're at with that? Okay, all right. Little safety reminder from NRRA not to throw your propane tanks out. It's very dangerous. We have a road letter with 670 Town Hall Road, Townhouse Hall? Townhouse Road, not Hall. Road letter.
That's mine, yeah, right.
Oh, no, it's all right.
The town hall's on that road.
Right. We're talking about the town hall offering it up. I can see that as a mistake.
Again.
Historic Town Hall, yes.
So, okay.
Were those the pictures of the,
Yeah, that would
loose
have been,
dogs?
that would have been another, right, okay, following up on some further previous complaints. NRA activity detail report. So we got a lot of things in from the, around the transfer station, reporting wise. We have, a report from Dan Lee Demo, who's coming to town on roughly the 22nd of this month, it looks like, to work on the Old Town, road.
Not just to work on it.
Well, to remove
They're
it.
gonna flatten it, and it'll be gone.
There was a question in there, is that from him on the, if we're selling the property?
He was just doing a general inquiry, that's
Okay.
all, it was his email to me.
Yeah.
And it was a general inquiry,
Okay,
and I basically said, you know, at this point in time, we don't know if it's a buildable lot.
Right.
There are some wetland and water issues. We know it's a very small parcel, and, yes, at some point it'll be auctioned off by the town.
great. All right, we had an update from the Province Lake Association regarding loons. They, I don't know if you call it a rookery, but they put out some kind of nesting devices out into the weeded area down past the island towards, beyond the dam. And,
Yeah, there are a couple loons, apparently, they're frequenting one of those sites, and they
Yeah.
want people to stay away,
Right.
so that they don't disrupt them, and hopefully we'll get some eggs and chicks.
okay, so it's, an ongoing thing every year pretty much with those folks, so the Province Lake Association could probably provide more input if you're a bird watcher or have some interest there. We got a report from Rebecca Boyden, our zoning officer, as she's updating us as the summer season comes in full swing. Everybody good with that report? Anything on?
Yep.
Nothing
Good.
there? Okay. All right, we'll segue right into Mr. Hart.
No,
You had
I
something?
mean, really, follow the agenda.
What did I do? Did I skip something here?
Again,
Oh, administrative comments, it's blank. Mr. Burke, I'm so sorry, sir. Did you care to join the party?
Yes.
My apologies.
I already indicated that Gwen will be in tomorrow about that, property.
Yeah.
One of the printers in the town clerk's office sounds like a washing machine that's out of balance trying to walk across the floor every time it runs. And I was really concerned that it was probably not long for this world. Those printers, the original one was purchased by the state. The state's no longer supplying the printers. So I reached out to Lenhart and asked them whether that printer was even worth trying to salvage and fix. Actually, it turns out it is.
really?
Yeah.
They are really worth fixing. He reached out to his printer guy, and the guy said, "Oh yeah, absolutely." No, Frank. Deanna called the person that has worked on them before, used to fix them for the state, but the state's out of the business. Basically, what he's indicated to Deanna is that for $175, he will give her a completely refurbished printer, same style, double draw, and he will give her rollers for the refurbished one plus rollers for the one that's here. She keeps the one that's here, and I think that's probably a good deal. I didn't get a chance to check with Lenhart, but I'm not even sure I'm going to. She's going to a training session. She and Wester are a training session, I believe, next Thursday and Friday. I think that's right. And that's in Concord.
I think it's this Thursday, but.
Anyway, if she takes that one up, he will replace the rollers and have the other one for her, and we'll bill it. I think that's a deal
That was great.
we ought to take, and I told him to go ahead and take it.
All right.
Payroll costs. I've looked at a lot of different payroll companies. 3 of them actually, initially looked good. They are, ADP, CheckSmart, I think it is, and Travantis. Travantis is the one that was recommended by Bank of New Hampshire to begin with. And these are numbers of costs. And what I I did to follow the thing through is you got pretty much 14 people you pay every week. It's $2.50 per check. That'll be $35 a week times your 52 weeks for $1,820 a year. Then monthly, you pay 7 people. That's another $250. That's $1,750 for the week. You're doing that 12 times a year because it's monthly for $210. And periodically, you pay another 14 people. Those are primarily your poll workers, your moderator, your supervisor of the checklist, those people. And that adds up to 14 people. And again, $250 for $35 every time you pay them. And I guesstimated 4 times a year. There are going to be some years where it's only 3, and there'll be some years where it's 5, depending upon how often the supervisors meet. If you're going to have them do the New Hampshire retirement system, they charge $12 a month to do that. They do it 12 times a year, so that's $144. For that, your per year cost is $2,314. I gave you a half year cost because we're almost to July 1st, so if you're looking at this year. If you're going to have them do W-2s, there are 35 that you do, because you add up the 14, and 7. They're $595, and there's a $50 setup fee to do W-2s. So that's a $258.25 charge. So the cost with W-2s is $2,572 a year. I don't think that's, now I did talk to a guy by the name of Anthony Poole, was the representative for Travantis. Because one of my concerns has been all along, incidentally, this is predicated on everything as an ACH payment. It's more money than it's not. So, but you've all told me that that's what it'll be, so I didn't put any costs about checks in there. One of my concerns has been, how do we manage, back up a little bit more, also their report back to us is QuickBooks compatible if we have QuickBooks Desktop, which we do. We do not have it with QuickBooks. My concern was, how are we going to comply with the law requiring a manifest be signed before any pay and still be able to use QuickBooks, because QuickBooks requires that you show the check was cut. Right now, we cut the check, but the treasurer does not sign until after the manifest. How am I going to guarantee that the checks don't go without the manifest? He said, if we get the payroll information to them on Monday, they can supply the information back on Monday, so it can be loaded into QuickBooks, and the manifest can be cut on Tuesdays. So that pretty much took care of that problem. My concern, I'm sure it was going to be a concern for the treasurer, but I can take care of that. This is the best price of any of them for the services that we'll get. My concern is, I'm not sure whether this, first of all, I want to know what, if we decide to do this, what line item is this coming out of? Because I don't want to be beat up by the budget committee because something isn't right in the line item. But the other thing is, someone still has to supply all the information to them, or who worked how many hours, and whether there's overtime and the rates of pay to them every week on Monday.
Okay, so ADP's got a one-time setup for that stuff, and the only dashboard entry is the person and number of hours and whether there's any overtime hours.
These guys had the same thing, but you still got to put it in, because your guys at the transfer station aren't working the same hours every week.
Yep.
Christine, none of the part-time people are.
Yep.
The only people that are getting the same guaranteed pay every week are those people that are on monthly payments.
Yep.
So you still have to enter that stuff into the dashboard every week. Someone here has to do that.
Their hours.
their hours, and if there's overtime hours, and probably that's it. Having not seen the dashboard, I can't give you, any more information. Now, Tom sat with me last week. Week before, anyway.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Sat 1 week, and I'll let you,
Well, before we get into that, compliance with the state. Now, I've been hearing that we need to have 2 people available to cut these checks and to do payroll. And at present, we have 1. And if you weren't here, we really don't have a default individual. Is that accurate?
I'm gonna say no.
No, it's not accurate?
That's correct.
Okay.
Because both Gwen and Christine have done the payroll. Does it take them a lot longer because they're not that familiar with it? Yes. And occasionally is there an error? Yes. Generally, the error is something like that. When we were doing Christine, somehow or other, her system wanted to default to printing on OneNote. So QuickBooks, not all the checks were printed, and none of them were printed because they were all on OneNote. It took some time to go back and correct that. I guess my concern, Mike, is I'm not sure they're familiar enough with QuickBooks to figure out how to go back and fix that if it happens. If they don't have a glitch, they both can do it. If there's a glitch in the system, I'm not sure they're familiar enough with it to be able to know how to fix the glitch. So that's kind of a multifaceted answer to a question. But could they do it, and have they done it? The answer is yes.
And are you aware that if there's a compliance issue with the state of having 2 people that are, I don't know what the term would be, maybe not
Trained,
qualified
qualified.
to do this? Anybody up on that? I've heard it a couple times.
I don't know. That's for you. Right now is the first time I've ever heard it.
I know it was also intoned by the individual brought in, that, the bookkeeper that signed an NDA to come in and look. So.
I didn't hear her say it, but I'm not saying it's not true. I just.
Yeah, I don't know. It's what I don't know.
But, yeah, both of them can do it, and both of them have done it.
Okay. Well, I don't want to put any of our employees on the spot now, but I think that would have to be a follow-up to see where they are in that process, how comfortable they feel with that, and do they want to fill that role.
Tom said a couple more times with me, he thought he could do it.
No way, not in your way. And like he's trying to say, I sat and watched him do it. And at first I was concerned about the time it took him. I'm not concerned about the time it took him on that.
Yeah.
What I am concerned about on it all is, it could be, like, if he's out sick, not saying, hopefully not, and like we were just discussing with, the 2 other people in there, but what if one of them are out or something happens, and if we have a company doing it, it's out of our head, it just,
There's a difference in the knowledge level to enter something like a name and a number of hours into a dashboard weekly versus becoming a QuickBooks qualified person where you're not going to have errors. I don't disagree it's more expensive than the way we're doing it right now, but we've got a business risk right now because Brian's the only one that knows how to do this really well.
Right.
And if something happens to him, we've got an exposure, and I really don't want to see us screwing up paychecks for our employees.
oh, 100% with you there.
Nobody's doing it on purpose, I got that part.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't want to take that chance.
Mistakes can be made, we're human,
And I'm not disagreeing with anything that's being said here. I've said that
Right.
all of you at different times. You're still going to have people that are aware of how to use the payroll in QuickBooks so that you can download what the payroll company sends you and create a manifest for you to sign before you can legally pay the paycheck. So if something happened to me, someone still needs to be trained in how to do that.
You're talking a download of information.
And then creating the manifest.
Okay.
And you still gotta pay the bills themselves in QuickBooks. And I'm not trying to,
No, those are all valid points, and I think writing a check to a company is one thing. And I think, you know, processing a download, having to print the download out and getting that onto the manifest is something else too that, you know, without knowing the process, I don't think those are huge steps. I think where Chuck is going and where maybe my comfort level lies is if there's some errors that happen and you're not here, they may go unnoticed, and or we've had some paycheck errors, you know, somebody didn't get paid 1 week, somebody got 2 checks, that kind of thing. Correcting that is a problem, and if we had to go 2 or 3 weeks to correct that where somebody didn't get paid, that would be a real problem. So I think that's kind of part of what Chuck is maybe looking at. I know it's part of what I'm looking at, and just having some of the liability taking off this office's shoulders to outsource.
and you're not gonna get an argument from me because it lightens up some of my time. I just also don't know where you're gonna find the money to do it.
Well, and that is why this is very valuable, you giving us the breakdown, because it's always a trade-off. And again, the other thing that I have a concern with is whether or not we are compliant with the state regulations and being able to say that we have somebody else here besides you to do this, and if we're meeting that standard, because that might be another liability, should there be any truth to that.
Is that a call to the state?
I don't know. Where would you start? Yeah, I guess maybe,
Labor?
possibly. Maybe the individual we had come in might give us some light as to where that came from and point us in a direction to.
That would be the easiest way, right?
Yeah, it's the simplest way to, you know.
And she said she was more than willing to do that, so.
Yeah,
I just didn't hear her say it, so
I thought I heard her say it, but you know, I've been living in this stuff for so long, maybe I'm mixing things up, so.
I was more interested in trying to get help with the retirement system, which I couldn't do. So, actually, this time around, the retirement system balanced, I think I figured out some of the issues that at least I was having, and I don't know if they're the same issues Claudia was having, because I know she hated it just as much as it is not user-friendly. That is definitely not user-friendly. And we're gonna have to train someone. We need to train a second person once I feel confident, figure out how to do that too, because that's a costly error if you miss the whole thing. I've had some $25 fines because I've missed $50 somewhere along the line. But if you missed the $5,000 that you signed for the month this month, that's a huge fine. And so we need to get someone that knows how to handle that retirement system. I think I've finally got it figured out. And QuickBooks balanced with it also, amazingly.
And Brian, is that a monthly upload or it is? Okay.
And it's actually 2 uploads a month. You have to upload what they call a batch file, which sets up all the information. It would be pretty simple if nobody had any overtime, but the overtime is what complicates it.
Yep.
And you have to set that, you have to take out, then you have to go to QuickBooks liabilities and say, okay, how much in the liabilities column does the employee owe? Because they're 11.55%. How much does the municipality owe in the medical line item for the retirement system? And how much does the municipality itself owe for retirement? Then, once you've done that, you send it off to them. They tell you whether it balanced or didn't balance, or whether they're gonna accept it or not accept it. The other thing that's complicated is it never runs the same number of weeks. Because you start with the first pay period of the month, which actually, for us, is the last week of the previous month, and you gotta stop at the last pay period of the month, which means you get some months, like this month, it was 5 weeks, some months it's 4 weeks. You got a bad February, it's 3 weeks. So, you've got to figure all of those numbers in. Then once you get those figured in and they accept it, then you gotta do the voucher, and you gotta break it out again on the voucher. Exactly, there was a voucher in the payroll this time around. It is definitely not user-friendly. But I think that I've got, the other thing is they tell you to go in and use the previous balanced month. And then it brings it up to a new month. One thing they didn't tell you is if you had overtime and you don't have overtime this month, they don't show the overtime, but they show the amount taken out, including the overtime. You gotta change that. That's what I think I've been screwing up. I finally figured that out this time around. If Ian's the one, and if he had overtime, then it takes, when you bring up the month, it takes the overtime out, but it doesn't take out his percentage in the payment for the overtime. You gotta take that out manually.
Okay.
So it's not an easy process. These guys will do it. That's the one thing I like about this.
They will handle all of that.
And they're the,
For $12, that's it.
and they are the only ones
Yeah.
that were even interested in being competitive that would do it. There was one other company that would do it, but it was almost twice as much per check.
Well, I guess you've given us something to think on here. I don't. Does anybody have questions for Brian or anything to add at the moment?
No, I like, no, this spreadsheet to me is what we need.
Okay. You all set, you've got us up to speed about as good as we can be at the moment?
Yeah, the only thing I want you to do is if you decide to go with it, tell me what line item to take it out of.
We'll work on that.
Yeah, that's the next thing to take a look at. What line item?
A little bit of the digesting. Well, you know, tomorrow we're obviously gonna spend some time on the budget here as a work session, so we'll be looking at the budget.
Well, some of the time I won't be here tomorrow because we also have a meeting, which I've been asked by the moderator to be part of about setting up the polls on the September and November.
Well, I think for the most, when we go through the line items, that's really where we're gonna be focused, and it'll give us some idea of where we're spending, where we're not spending, and if there's places that we're not spending for certain reasons, maybe we could use that line. You know, meetings haven't happened for us this year, we haven't been using the mileage, going to trainings and various things. Unless that changes in the last half of the year here, maybe there's something to look at, but that's fine.
When you look at it, I have not removed I just haven't done it yet, my notes there to do it, but I have not put the materials pulled out of the
Gotcha.
line item in a road contract. No, you said to take, one of the items out of the consultant line item, and I think put it on the Snow Road Bridge. I just haven't got to it yet.
Okay, yeah, there might be some more movement as things happen. We're looking for the bridge, Elm Street to go under construction, probably about, July 6th. So, yeah, and then road reconstruction will probably be starting to, some portions of Comeau.
And I've started, based on the person we brought in to give some ideas on QuickBooks, in the police line item, you'll see a COVID-19, and you'll see the two payments. That's gonna come out, because what I have done is I've put in, like she recommended, I've put COVID-19 as a liability, and I'll pay that out as a liability, so it doesn't screw up the budget item.
Yep.
But I have not got that completely done yet, because I also decided today that under that COVID-19 liability, I'm gonna put police, fire, and, probably Gophers, which is a refund of money up to the $35,250 of costs to us. And put those all as liabilities.
Well, I mean, I was in the room, but, did you get anything out of the interaction with the, folks, the gal that came in for?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It was definitely worth time. Now, the other thing is that she still doesn't know how to get those things out to the zeros.
Right. But they're not I mean, they'd be nice, but that's not really messing anything up, so. I think if we can live with those. All right, so we got something there to work with from what you got on the page checks.
Well, I think that's it.
Okay.
Haven't heard anything from Atlantic Recycling since I sent them the nasty grant. Haven't got another bill from them, so that's.
Well, they might be reviewing that, so. All right, then, I'll kick it over to Mr. Hart.
All right, I spoke to Amanda up at Waste Management last Wednesday. Told her about the, no trucks on Champion Hill Road, it's posted. And she will let dispatch know with flags. And the driver on his route sheet with flags to let them know, stay off of it. I also asked her how much, when they picked up that, the compactor that we're having trouble with, that wasn't set right. Yep. I asked her how much tonnage did we lose on that, because it's being picked up early, so I can get back to,
Yeah, sure.
And it was really close to full. It was right there, so it wasn't even worth the argument.
Okay.
So I just left that alone on that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it came out, it was 3.16 tons. That sound right?
3.15?
Yeah.
Yeah, typically they're running to like 9.
Well, that's what I looked up, because you know what?
8 and 9 is what I saw when I did that research on those.
The household, I think, was running about 12. The recycling is lower.
Way lower. Oh,
That's
okay, I was looking at the wrong one then.
If I gave you that sheet, look at that sheet, because I think it's different. So what did you say the number was?
The normal, ours is 3.2.
3.2
A normal,
tons
right,
on recycle.
yeah.
Okay.
And that was picked up on 6.9.
I'll look at my sheet. Chuck, I think you have one.
And we had 3.16 that day it was picked up.
Close.
That's why I didn't bother arguing about a cost associated with it.
All right. Well, if that's accurate, then yes.
Yeah. So, but she will flag, the driver and the, dispatcher on Champion Hill, so we can hopefully avoid that, we'll see. Still at the transfer station on the, oil containment systems. I've been calling around, I called 3 companies, and now what I'm on now is, getting a port on site. See if that can be done, if there's a way to seal the seams from the floor to the walls. And if that's the case, when I was there, Friday, I went down and took some more measurements of where you were talking about putting it in there, down the bottom, I guess. And there's already 3 concrete walls there, right? Right. We just pour the front concrete knee wall, let's call it, so high, if that has enough volume in there to hold the 8 drums, 55-gallon drums that they're all in. What volume can that? And that would just give us one wall, and have to frame the front, put a roll-up door, put the roof on with a couple of light panels in there,
Well, that's really far back. I mean, you wouldn't have to do but maybe 6 inches in height of volume going that far back. That's way more than.
Yeah, if there's a way to seal the, where the walls, where the floor reach the walls. That's the issue.
Yeah, I don't know how you form.
I gotta call out to a guy, he's gonna call me back hopefully next day or 2.
Well, we'll see what
up there with him and see what it comes to.
if it can be done. We'll look prices at everything on these things, but.
I figured it was worth a shot.
Oh, I'm willing to listen to everything, because,
At this point, let's take a look at everything.
Yeah.
it's big money to do it some ways. If there's a cheaper way to do it, I don't know. Is that the way to go? No idea, but I'll definitely look at everything.
All right. The school letter, I've been working on that. I was wondering, maybe in the work session tomorrow, bring it up for you guys.
Sure.
We got room tomorrow to do that?
I would make room for that if we had to cut something else a little short, because that's really in the moment. And
That's a big one.
Yeah, it'd be pretty financially
I
significant.
figure we can probably get most of it all together tomorrow, and then,
Okay.
someone can write it,
Yeah, you can take a stab.
and, that's not my forte.
That's fine, well, I can take a stab.
And I'd rather-
We have-
The payoff on that one has got good potential, so.
Yeah, and Chuck and I both have ghostwriters. So,
Yeah,
whatever.
I used to. Chuck, you admit to, are you gonna have did you decline a non-public today, or?
I would like one, yes.
Okay, I just got something small to piggyback on that.
Please, listen.
Yeah.
Okay. Under legal, is that, okay?
Okay, I passed you out the Boston Post cane history there, just for your reading pleasure. The only other thing I had was, Friday, Ian went up, he had a speed sign there. Police tells you what your speed is, that they picked up this year, I guess. They had on the pole out front here. And it worked pretty good here, and they went up by my house, put one on a pole there. And I wasn't sure how that thing worked, and, you know, whatever, but I tell you what, that's almost as good as having a police car on the side of the road. People just brake and just, their first reaction is hit the brakes, and I watched all weekend, one person got over 31 miles an hour, so someone from another state came up and hit it at 37.
Another state.
Yeah, hit it at 37. But
That is one of the primary purposes.
it works excellent.
It's for control of speed
And
without having to pay a cruiser and a person sitting in the cruiser to sit there.
And I thought it worked excellent, and I just wanted to let people know that it was a great investment.
Well, didn't you say they captured somebody at
61 miles an hour right out front of this building when they had it here Friday morning.
64 going right around the corner at the library.
Okay.
So, and that's all I got.
All right, I don't have a lot today because I left my warm little bed this morning, did a couple hours on the computer answering stuff that I neglected over the weekend. I had family in town. And then I had to hot-foot it up to a Superior Court mediation, which took up my entire day until this afternoon when I got back, and pick up where I left off. So, most of it's all email stuff. One of the things I think we should probably do as a piece of business is our road paving, so I'll save that for the end. The discussion on that, and maybe we'll reach a decision. Other than that, as I said, July 6th, it looks like Hanson Bridge Company should be coming to town to do repairs on Elm Street. I've got a call back out to Mr. Evans, who I did speak to recently, to see if we're going to have some follow-up on ditching materials on the roads, some culverts that were left, and Champion Hill has some debris out there, along with another culvert that needs some cleaning out. And Mr. White sent something in for Green Mountain. So calcium chloride, I'm waiting for another call to find out when we get more of that in. And we may have to do some touch-up on a couple of roads, spot grading to make that work. So those are all in the works. I did have a contact. Sorry.
So July 6th, Elm Street Bridge, is Hanson gonna sign all that for detour and everything?
Yeah, I did talk to him about signage. If there's additional signage that we may want, we'll just have to tell him what that is.
Okay.
My point of view, initially talking with him, was when you go down Green Mountain Road, it's just gonna be closed there before the bridge, so you just can't go anywhere, right? So, it comes into the detour on the other side to Pine River Road, and just saying, you come down and you have to be able to loop out in any kind of tractor trailer or a logging truck. So that has to be signed basically at that point. After that, he's going to put some German barriers up before the bridge proper, somewhere in that area. So even if you decide you're going to go around our town,
We don't have anybody in town that does that.
that would be novel for the town of Effingham. And I did tell him that we do have a collector of cones in the town, so that not use anything that's under, say, 500 pounds for signage. So, yeah, you know, I don't know what else to tell them to do.
Do we have to make any notifications to anybody?
We will notify dispatch, we'll let the Ossipee know, the PDs, respectively.
Ambulance,
Yeah, ambulance, the postal workers, you know, for deliveries. So, yeah, there's a whole host of people that I'll probably reach out to, and we start with dispatch to let them know. We let our fire department know. The town of Ossipee has the connecting road on Elm Street, so we've let them know. Signage on their end is really, you know, I don't see us putting any signs way out there. So, yeah, once you've gotten down to the bridge, you're out of luck or you live there on one of those roads. There's just so much to be done, I think. And we're looking at hopefully 2 weeks. It really is a lot of the unknown, because until you take the top layer off the deck, you're not going to know what kind of shape the deck is in. And that would be the one that's going to dictate how long and how expensive things get. So, that one's going to be going on, you know, now. I had hoped to have Ron Evans in town this week for Green Mountain Road, some work, but again, I know he's been flat out. We took a bunch of his time earlier in the season and had a lot of work scheduled. So he's trying to catch up. And if his world is anything like my world, you can never get quite enough done in the time you allotted. But I will be on him again. I anticipate once his day ends, he'll probably get back to me.
Should we put a notice on the website?
We could start noticing that we expect that the Elm Street Bridge will be closed on July 6th. I was waiting to make sure with Mr. Hanson that we have the expansion joint.
Yeah, wait another week or so before we put that up, I would think.
Okay, we can wait. That would be fine. So it was just to know for sure that he's got the part. Because you're not going to start the job unless you know you have that critical part. Because once you pull that expansion joint, you can't drive over the bridge. So we want to make sure we have that physically in hand. All right. Something I saw today in some kind of correspondence, it showed that the household hazardous waste day, it looks like Ossipee's pulled out. So I have a call out to Paige, maybe it's Paige Wilson, I'm not sure, from East Region Planning to find out what's going on.
Yeah, because that's supposed to be on August 1st, or
Yeah.
around that time frame for us.
So are we going to be, you know, directed to another town, or like just what's going on? Because either we're in or we're out, and if we're out, we've got, I think, about $1,600 coming back. That's a really good day. I mean, a lot of stuff that we can't take at our transfer station goes that day, and I'd hate to see the kind of waste that we can't take end up somewhere else in town. You know what I mean?
I do.
So, I left a message. Like I said, I didn't get back home till about 2:30 from that mediation. So I made the calls I could before I left to come down here, and I'm sure I'll hear something back, but I don't have anything for you at the moment. I did.
Should we take that off the website then?
Not until we know something. Well, it's not going to go to Ossipee apparently, but let this woman get back to me before we take any rash moves. I did speak with Administrator Burke as I got here a little before the meeting to see what our situation was in our ability to make a school payment. We're behind on the May payment. That's in excess of $283,000, and we still owe the June payment, which is a bigger number. So I would say that we're financially well enough situated to pay the May payment, and I would make that suggestion. But I want to hear from you guys as to what you think we should do. And if you would like to meet with Mr. Burke afterwards to go through some numbers or whatever he can provide for you for information.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Okay, then from my standpoint, it's a go. either of you decide, you know, that you're comfortable with this, just let Mr. Burke know, and he'll take care of it from there. No need to come back. I mean, the town administrator makes those calls all the time, so I'll leave it at that. I did have a message come back from the RCH crack sealing, and over the next couple of weeks, probably somewhere around the third week of June, they hope to be able to get to town to do some sealing on the newest section of Green Mountain Road that obviously had some problems, and Townhouse Road. So, given that we don't use everything up on those roads that we've allotted for, if there's other areas that you're aware of that would benefit from crack sealing, this isn't puzzle rebuilding, but crack sealing. So, you got a couple weeks to kind of narrow that down if you have some areas in town that you think would benefit from it. I think a drive up High Watch might be.
Yeah, and I know we've had them go through the transfer station in the past and just check stuff, so I think that would be worth.
We did it last year, so again.
We should be okay?
Well, I don't know. Again, take a review of any areas you think, because we don't have a lot of roads that it's worth investing in. But if there are areas of roads that are still in decent shape, it could be benefit. Maybe down towards the bridge on Huntress Bridge is an area that potentially, High Watch Road, the lower 3/4, maybe there's something in there. That's just off the top of my head. I don't.
Yeah, I know there's some on that road.
Oh, yeah. All right, so, if anybody gets a chance to review that, so that if we get down the road here another week or so, people are coming, planning to come to town, we have a default road, default area, even from telephone pole number this to telephone pole number, anything we can narrow it down.
Okay.
Great. Let's see, what else did I have? Nothing to go into there. We've talked about roads. For ordinances, we'll do some follow-ups with that. So I guess in our work session, that is, we'll follow up on that. I kind of didn't do us all a great favor here in when I sent out something that I thought was rather simplistic. It got complicated on our paving project. I kind of assumed that we would have got tonnage prices, or tonnage amounts and per ton prices, figuring that was just an industry standard on what you would do. What happened is one company provided it, two did not. I did speak to the two companies that did not provide that information. And part of, you gentlemen know that part of my concern was one of the numbers just didn't make sense to me. I do a certain level of basic math to find comfort levels in things, and I just could not find the comfort level. That company did get back to me today, in which case the gentleman was very upfront and honest about it, and accepted responsibility on his proposal, and understands he's missed the boat because he factored it in for 1 inch thickness, not the 1.25 inches that was listed in the proposal. So therefore, like I said, it was a certain amount of money. I just couldn't make sense of it, and that's it. So that was GMI. The other company, Bryant, they gave me after the fact information on tonnage and a price point. They were the higher bidder out of the three at the time. And the problem I would have with going with anything that would depict a lower number now, it seems like there's a process you engage in to be upfront and honest, and you give all the information that you've got. There was no other documentation with their bid like was provided by R&D. That's kind of a little troublesome to me, to be fair, in this process. Getting anything after the fact is kind of a little, I don't know, it's unsettling to me. It's not, you know, everything should have been in, I guess, is where I'm saying, to be a fair bid. Now, if we take that then I own part of the, not really laying it out for these other companies what we should have had them provide, although on page 3 of the document we sent out, it essentially covers that the rate of payment was going to be based on the method of their measure. They'll be paid for by the ton in place at the contract price. Not having a ton price put in kind of, you know, I would have expected they would have done that. So going back after the fact and asking for a ton price now, I'm not very comfortable with that. I don't know how you guys feel, if you need time to work that out. Given that, I would say that we only really have one legitimate bid, which is R&D. Going forward, I would, if you feel the same way, I would reach out to the other competitor to let them have the discussion where I think they kind of missed something and that I could have done a much better job in asking for that information point blank on our bid sheet. The other individual with the lowest bid was very gracious in understanding all of it, whether my role in it or his role in it, and is looking forward to bid on our projects in the future. No hard feelings. Hopefully, you know, if we go with R&D, hopefully Bryant understands and will be similarly accepting of the situation. So, I'll let everybody digest that. It's new information for you, and whenever anybody has a good feeling on where they want to go with that, we'll have a discussion on it.
Well, who gave you, all the information came from,
R&D.
R&D, so they, everything in front,
Right.
of day one.
It's all about packaging based on what the RFP was. And if it's a case where the picture's not clear with the information that comes in, you don't rate as high in the scoring part of it. It's the person that did everything.
Okay.
And I'm not in favor of going back after you put something out the door and getting additional information, unless you're gonna put the whole thing back out the door and let everybody try again.
Right.
That's just the school I came from in my previous career.
And that's where my comfort level is. If you're going to have a fair bidding process for contracted services, if you're going to take information after the fact, then everybody gets to have another whack at it. That's kind of the rules.
Yeah, and it's very similar to what we've been doing with the historic town hall project with the historic windows. Like, we did get 4 quotes. You know, one of them was a 1-pager, all the way up to 4 different support documents around the Secretary of Interior standards, and super detail all the way around what the project would be. And it just, you know, what's the difference between quality and not as good quality?
I'm with you.
Because I think we might be getting to a point where we're making a decision, I just want to read method of measure and basis of payment. That's a stipulated item on page 3. These items will be paid for by the ton in place at the contract price, as price, so I'm thinking that we would have a ton price. Anyway, according to the delivery slips, because that's how we've always based it in our town, is the delivery slips come in, they correlate to the ton price. The price shall include obtaining and furnishing all aggregate and bituminous material for processing, heating, mixing, weighing, placing, rolling, for furnishing all labor, equipment, tools, flaggers, or police protection, and all incidentals necessary to complete the work. And that's how it went out, as a lumped project, so that ton price incorporates all of those items. So I think it, you know, you have to go to page 3, but I think it's clear that there should have been a price, or the tonnage.
Didn't they? Should have been read, should have been.
And again, I could have put that on the front page with.
So, what's the price of R&D?
I believe they were 74.8.
And what was the total contract price?
190 and change.
And what was the other one that was?
It was 193 and change. Okay. So they both were projecting different tonnage, but the second one projecting more tonnage was an after the fact price. You know, if you had said it was the same amount of tonnage as the first bidder who included that, and your price was higher, you know, but now you're changing some items here that could present you to be the lowest after the fact.
So in the future, because your calculations weren't that far off in tonnage compared to everybody's,
Yeah.
why wouldn't we just say, here's the number of tons for this dimension, and make sure everybody's quoting on the same apples to apples?
Because when I originally did this, I didn't
In the future, Mike.
Right, no, I get it. I didn't factor in the tons because I gave them the thickness of the wearing surface, the approximate square yards, and I really nailed down the distance from telephone pole to telephone pole. I didn't do a ton calculation. I didn't really feel that I was comfortable,
Okay,
providing the ton.
all right.
I could give you everything else.
So you get like the width and the number of, and the thickness and the number of linear feet
Right,
calculated on this.
right.
Okay.
And so that was my comfort level at the time. What I guess I could have put two separate lines in for pricing, for the price per ton and the amount of tons. And I could put that in the future, and that's what I
Put that in the
told
template,
these other companies that I've talked to so far that I would do.
add it to the template.
Right, so it couldn't get missed. It'd be like front page kind of stuff. And I own part of this. I really think I do. I guess I made assumptions that the industry would have provided certain things because that's the way I expected them to do business. And that was an assumption I shouldn't have made. So I'll take some blame.
I think how you got it in there worded, in that, you expect them to read everything.
Yeah, I guess, but again, I made an assumption that they would have provided certain things, tonnage and price per ton, and I could have been
I'm good.
clearer.
So, the low bidder, I'm good the fact that they're being tossed out, because what they proposed didn't meet the spec requirements, so they're gone.
Yep.
RMD comes in as the next lowest one, and I'm comfortable with that.
Okay.
I'm comfortable.
Okay, I would entertain a motion then because I don't feel that I should be the one making this motion, to award the bid. And if one of you gentlemen would like to award the paving bid.
I'll make a motion to award the paving bid to RMD paving.
I second that, hot second.
Right, then, I'll take a roll call vote.
Chuck Fuller, aye.
Aye.
Hal and I, thank you for your understanding on that. And, I'll endeavor to do a better job in the future. Should I have a future? Hey, I'm up for election this year. I can hand this, who's getting the clipboard? Who wants this one? All right, that was enough wise welcome. Let's see, Christine has provided a contact list, for a lot of municipal folks, which I think will be very helpful in the future.
Yes, thank you.
And,
In-house only. This has got a lot of personal
yeah,
email
absolutely.
information on it.
All right, so again, I don't have a lot of things that I'm going to dwell on here tonight. We're back here in the morning. It's been a really long day, I think, for most of us. So.
Can I just add one thing? Was anything done about the gloves for the guys at the transfer station?
I purchased those, and I wasn't able to get them over to them, but Tom.
They have them in their possession.
Okay, thank you.
Tom come by and picked them up on the way to go watch the maintenance thing, because Mark was going to be there, so he.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant to bring up too, that the maintenance is all complete. The oil's been changed, that oil's good for 2 to 3 years. He figured we can get 3 out of it, because we only use those 3 days a week. But everything, the fittings, and they left one of the hoses up there that was cracked, just so you guys could see if it's in the shed, just look where they crack, so we know what to look for. Those are done, the fittings are done, everything is done. Check it off.
So did we get into a discussion on how we're gonna ongoing grease the inside of that thing so it doesn't
Yeah,
powder its way?
Like last.
I'm not comfortable with him climbing inside that thing.
No, and he really doesn't, he can use a wand on a thing, the guy said, he can, if he's spraying cooking oil in there,
Yeah.
he can get one of those, like, pest.
Pressure, yeah, sprayers.
And just, you know, he might have to put his knee on or something and spray it in, but, other than that,
All right, yeah, I wanna take a look at that. So,
it's all done, 2 to 3 years, so I figure 2.5 years, we'll start contacting them for another round of service.
Well, I think,
do they do an annual service? Do they come in and do an annual checkup on the thing?
yeah, well, that's what we signed up for.
Okay, that's what, all right.
But there's also, I believe, they're putting either we've gotten a report or they're going to provide a report with the things that they found in order of priority, that's wear and tear kind of issues.
He'll look at a report, he said, send here. I asked him for it that day, he says, I don't make it up, they do it. I just turn in my report and pictures and then they send it to us.
So I don't know if the gentleman that was there doing the service, imparted anything to you as to, do we have some issues that should be addressed sooner than later, you know, down the road?
No issues right now,
Really?
none, everything, but that's why the 4 hoses were changed.
Okay.
Instead of just changing 2 that were bad, changed all 4, and, that was it. And the fittings, he didn't just tighten them, he replaced them. I washed them, back them all out, get new ones off the truck, and tape them up, dope them up, put them back in. And, you know, had to have them clean up a little after, but.
It's hydraulic stuff, right?
Yeah.
It tends to be that.
Not easy.
No, that's messy.
All right, then, if nobody else has anything else, I've got new business here that I kind of.
What about
Oh, Chuck, I'm sorry. Chuck, you want in on this? How did I skip you? Oh, I'm really in a hurry. I'm sorry, buddy.
That's okay. I'm gonna make it quick. So I was in here a couple hours yesterday with, Mike Strojan of Strojan's Heating to do information to get a quote for the heating system in here. We spent about 2 hours going over stuff, so he was lifting roof panels and everything else. We actually asked Chris to climb into the back closet and see if she could find the plans, which she did. And she found the original plans. So we actually had all the original load calculations, 200,000 BTUs, and a bunch of other stuff. We reviewed what's in there right now from a pellet boiler. What's interesting is the pellet boiler that had been recommended was 164,000 BTUs. The pellet boiler they put in is 123,000 BTUs. So he said it really wasn't sized properly for the load of the building. And he'll basically give us a quote on that. He said running ductwork in here to be able to do forced hot air system or something like that. He says you haven't got enough room. You'd actually have to run all your ducts along the walls underneath the ceiling. And I said, that's not going to work. So he's going to come back with a furnace replacement. He's going to come back with a mini split for air conditioning, one unit for here and this room, one unit for the other side covering both offices, Board of Selectmen as well as town clerk. And we'll be able to do that. I also asked him, kind of based on the whole COVID thing that's happening, around air exchanger kind of things. And he said, without ductwork, you can't really run an air exchanger, but what he found is we apparently have an exhaust fan on our roof.
Yeah.
Which, the question is, do we ever use it?
The hallway.
It's the hallway right here.
Do we ever use it?
Yeah, I had that kick on when the furnace kicks on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go
Right,
straight to
to the
the wall.
bathrooms.
Well, he said there's a way, when we were doing meetings in here, if we wanted to basically set that up, it could be done like a manual, turn on, turn off, so basically while we were in here doing meetings or whatever, it could do some circulation of some kind. So, he said he would not touch anything up on the roof. Apparently, whatever we have for an insulating, insulating value and then covered by a roof unit, he said it's too delicate to even touch or walk on. He wouldn't touch it, and he wouldn't try and change out any equipment because he said you'd have leaks from that point forward. So, I thought that was a pretty good, recommendation. So, we'll see what he comes back with for a price. I expect we'll have something within the week. Brian shipped me an email the other day, on, one of the governor's proposals to look at taking $50 million out of the, Gopher money and basically expand broadband services in the state. As a result of that, the Carroll County Broadband Committee, there were 3 or 4 people on the committee that literally worked from Thursday last week over to Sunday. State Representative Jeff Bradley asked them to pull together a proposal that he could submit to the governor's office to be able to look at doing a good portion of the Carroll County broadband package. Part of what they have to take a look at is whatever's being proposed apparently has to be spent by December 31st. So they were able to come up with a package. The proposal's about $11 million to go in and basically do a whole ton of work relative to getting preparation ready for the entire county if we're successful with it. So the survey that was started last fall with some of the government grant money, they're going to make the presentation on that in the next 2 weeks, so I'll have something that potentially we can have in town. We will be asking the citizenry to do some online survey calculations. One of the most important things is being able to document the speed of service at 2 or 3 periods during the day, because according to the federal government, York County doesn't have any internet issues. Everybody's got adequate 25 download, 3 upload speed, which we know is not the case. So we're going to basically need to go in and try and get a number of people to do the testing to figure out what it is. I mean, I think this building's like 16.2, the library's like 16.3.5, so the speeds are not up to where they're supposed to be, but we've got to document it.
When you say 16.2, 16.3.5, what is the government saying that we have?
The government is saying we meet the government code of 25.3
Okay.
for the county.
3 is the minimum.
For the county.
Excellent.
And that's not the case in the majority of the county. So that's where the government reporting is not working out well. And if I understood it correctly, it's because the companies that run that technology are the ones that report to the FCC around what we've got going and how good we are.
Oh, perfect.
So it's literally the
Self-policing.
exactly.
Nice.
So,
Excellent.
So
I'll get that goal.
it's an opportunity for us. I've been helping Brian pull together the spreadsheet for the phone and internet service, and I thought I had it pretty much done the other day until the third vendor, Genuity Networks, came back with another number which was lower, and I've asked him to go back and validate a couple things to come back with. So I'm hoping within a week we have as much information as we're going to get from Consolidated, Spectrum, and Genuity through 3 vendors to be able to go in and take a look at what the offering could be from that standpoint. And part of it will be taking a look at, do we want to do, if the numbers are close, do we want to just kind of do everything with one vendor, which means probably a 3-year contract, or do we want to try and split stuff up where we've got one vendor doing internet, another vendor doing phones? But that's a decision, once we have more information to take a look at, that we can discuss.
Is this Genuity, is this a new company, or are they been around?
No, they're based out in Dover. Our technology outfit, Lenhart, knows of them, has dealt with them in the past. When I call the guy, when I talk to Sean, what they've done is they're an aggregator. They've got a contract with Consolidated, so they use Consolidated's technology, fiber and wires, but because they're not the big company, it's a different pricing package. So he told me he would probably be less expensive in the phone category with equal to or better than capability. And I said, show me the numbers first, then Brian's going to want to know what your capability is. So we'll see what happens with that. Transfer station of the shields. So I know you found a couple of shields up there the other day. One of my concerns is if we're going to have to use those shields, then we probably ought to get a couple more as a backup. Just the protection, not the whole unit, just the shield itself.
Yeah.
So I don't know where we got those. Those are designed for the oil, so the spray back from an oil standpoint.
That's what they got.
They're not really the medical ones with the longer, lower plastic face on them. But if the guys are going to use them, I'm A-okay with that, except we've got like one. And it's like, if that one shield, something happens to that one shield for some reason, we don't have any spares. So,
Yeah, well, they get scratched up at some point anyway, right?
uh,
Is it cheaper to buy whole new units than to buy replacement?
this one looks like, when they bought it, it's a very expensive unit. It's an adjustable head, it weighs like 3 pounds. I mean, it's like, I wouldn't even want to be wearing it because it's so heavy. But it was designed for that heavy kind of work
And you can also
from an industrial standpoint.
about the mask up so they can work with something else instead of keep taking it off.
So,
Welders.
And the shield does got those little black.
yeah,
Just turn and the shield comes right off.
right.
So that's
So I'm just trying to figure out, we probably ought to get just a couple more shields to have them up there, and if something happens to that, we're not, the guys aren't out of business relative to shields, but they've got.
Get the name of them off of it, or?
Yeah, I mean, let's do it, and we'll see if Chris can do an internet search and find them, and we'll figure out how to get them.
Look for model number 2 in case it, they may be model number specific to get it.
Yep.
I knew I saw those.
Yep,
Oh, they were covered in dust.
oh, yeah.
They were up in
Yeah.
the corner by the well trolls.
Yep, yeah, and I said, what are they doing up there? Yeah, I knew you'd found them. I said, so where they been? I was like, we only use them when we had oil, but we don't have oil anymore. So it's kind of like, okay.
One of them was never used.
Yeah,
It has the blue film plastic.
on the cover of it.
Did they know they were there? I'm sorry, Chuck. Did they did?
Locked it.
I'm not sure they all knew they were there,
Well, Bill Ward.
but I'm not going to bet the farm on that one.
Well, I guess I know in the spring, I was a little concerned with the debris that collects in there. Like, I think there's a thing of wire that gets collected, and take it home at the end of the day if you're taking wire. I don't know.
It's still in there. I thought that was gone.
I don't know. The place looks like, and I know how it happens. I mean, the workplace, and you start putting up doodads and trinkets. I think we might be getting to a teeter point where
Clean it.
maybe it's time to throw away some of the Hummels. I don't know.
I made a lot of mentions of how the
Right.
place looks.
Well, if we need places to put our tools, and you got that gauge that got broken, maybe it's time to not hang things on the well stuff, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just.
They do have a new, not to interrupt you, they do have a new refrigerator that was donated to them in there.
Yep.
That came from.
The Rabel, right?
Yeah, the other on its last legs.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, that was nice of them.
all right. LCHIP grant. So, I hopefully by the end of this week we'll have it all ready to go. And the only thing I can say is, and I want to thank publicly Jen Van Coor, Grace Fuller, and David Lynch, and David's out of Evanston, Illinois, for working on these. They've been meeting weekly for an hour and a half to 2.5 hours. Jen and Grace have been meeting anywhere up to 3 hours at a time, weekly or more than one time a week, to get this ready. And the good news is we're about ready. I'm putting the finishing touches on it right now. Hopefully within the next 3 days I'll have it done and submitted. I did get an email from the organization, the Land and Community Heritage Investment Program. They received 58 letters of intent for money at 5.3 or 5.8 million, which is about 3 times the allocated amount of money. So it's going to be a competitive process.
Perfect.
So we'll see how we stand. We've gotten a good sized grant from them before. We've gotten 150 in the past, and we've gotten a couple of additional grants out of Preservation Alliance for 4,500 and 600. So we've proven with the state that at least it's a viable program to take a look at. So
along with the 3 names you just mentioned, Chuck, I'm learning the hard way on the amount of time it takes to pursue grants. So I just want to say thank you not only to those 3 individuals, but thank you to you for all the time that I know you have put in. And it's consuming. It takes the bulk of your day. You miss out on this beautiful summer weather, and I know you've been doing it for quite a while now. So thanks.
And Grace and Jen have just been. I mean, we're not stopping with LCHIP. I mean, they've been working on LCHIP, but they have another 10 or 15 grants they're actually working stuff up on right now to be able to get out within the next couple months.
It's a
So,
huge effort.
they've done a really good job pulling it together. And David Lynch is a personal friend of Grace's of mine that we've known for years. And David and his wife Catherine are professional grant writers.
Oh, wow.
So she ran the Mayo Clinic grant writing fundraising program for 15 years. So she had a major staff of people. That's all they did was write grants.
Now I'm really expecting results, bringing in ringers.
Hey, they did volunteer time to help us out to do the reviews. So it's like I truly appreciate that because it's some of that feedback and input from a professional. It was like you think you got it just right, and it's like, well, have you thought about wording it slightly different this way? And you look at it and go like, wow, that's way more powerful by just changing some of the words. So it's been a good learning experience too.
It's like the good news, isn't it?
It is. And it's like, yeah. And I just want to make a note. Are we having Randy in tomorrow for the alarm thing?
I'm hoping he's available and coming in.
Because the only thing he shipped out the other day was like 1 page of the entire
I
document.
don't believe I got anything. I'll have to check my emails.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure it's complete, even if I give it to you.
Well, maybe I'll just reach out to Randy
Okay.
and see.
Yeah. Ask him to print up whatever he's got,
Yeah.
or bring it down here and print it up,
Yeah.
and we'll just do that, because this isn't gonna help us in the whole policy part of it. That's good. I'm done.
All right, so I gotta reach out to Randy, put that on my list. All right, so now we're moving off onto,
Second page.
thing, request for, we did that, general assistance for septic repair.
Wesley came to me just before you guys met. Apparently, an elderly individual needs to repair his septic system, and he wants general assistance available to do that.
I don't believe.
I don't believe there is, but I told her I would bring it up.
Yeah, I talked to Wesley before she left here too about it. I didn't believe so either, when I was not read on it, but I told her to reach out to that contact person you gave her.
Yeah.
And that's what she's gonna do. And ask her, what do they do, what's common, you know,
A town
in
can,
response and all that.
a town can, without going through general assistance, can do that for it to be, and get reimbursed later, that kind of thing, but I just don't, at the price of septic systems, this town's ill-equipped to provide that kind of funding.
But it'll be interesting to know the answer.
Exactly, yeah, just
All right.
Maybe there's other avenues for this person to get assistance, that would be nice to find out, be more likely. Roof issue in the annex.
Over another Westie, over the desk, that's used by the general assistance administrator, it has leaked. There has been, in some of the, strapping that holds the ceiling has come down. Now, her husband screwed the strapping back up for her, but it's obviously been a leak. When that leak happened, I don't know. Christine says when she was cleaning over there, she would have seen the leak. I don't know why, if it all of a sudden is leaking now, it didn't leak worse during the winter when there was snow up there and melting, but the extent of my involvement is I've seen where Westy's husband screwed the ceiling back up, and I've seen the stain in the ceiling.
I've seen stains in the ceiling in other places prior, but this is new. There is an actual physical leak that we're sure of. Water now.
Well, it's ground, it's not water down off the ceiling. It's brown.
Easiest way there is go put your hand on it and find out if it's moist.
And what, like those metal things are like bulging down.
There's been some weight there that
Yeah.
caused those to drop. And, you know, the stain is obviously a water stain from coming in, so it's leaked at some point. Just when that happened, I don't know.
Well, I guess before I go to Tom, who's about to speak, if it rains if it rains, it's been so dry, again, one of us, somebody should be in there checking for that to see if we've got a leak. And then at that point in time, maybe checking with our insurance company to see if there's anything available there if we identify a leak. Those are two of my thoughts. Tom, you?
No, I was just thinking, take the center of that building, is it close to the center?
No,
it's off the,
it's on the corner, this end,
Yeah.
this corner.
Okay. Never mind that. I was thinking where the ceiling coming down on the police station too, in the center, that center beam that, where they join the two. Bring them in,
but that's not, it could be leaking somewhere else and following, things.
It actually looks, and this is my recollection of looking at it, I think someone has taken a tile out and turned it around, because I think there's two places of leak, but they're straight lines, so that the tile is turned back around, you can see the whole leak. That may have been Westy's husband trying to put this thing back up, so, I'd say it's probably, the area of leaking is probably as big as that box. The stain is probably as big.
Well, the next opportunity, I gotta tell you, I don't have a lot of time.
I'll run down. Yeah, it rained, I'm closest.
Okay. Well, I figure you get eyes on the prize too at some point here and see what's going on, best I can
I
tell.
just thought you needed to know about it.
I appreciate that, absolutely.
Didn't we just have a ton of rain a night last week?
Last
Really?
Thursday.
Yeah, it really rained here, I know.
Yep. That could have been them.
I was all there because I did get Westy's email working on the laptop. I guess we're gonna have to talk, I'm gonna have to talk to Lynn House and see if they can come in and figure out why we can't get it on some of the desktops.
And
We can't get it on the desktop.
And I'm still saying he should be able to do that remote.
And I think he can, except I'm concerned about that one.
It's not connected
We
properly.
were never able to get into that computer because she wouldn't give us the password. Because that still pops up and tells me Trent Micro is on it. So it never had Trent Micro taken off it either.
Okay.
All right then. If there's nothing else, I guess we're looking to go into a non-public here. Both you gentlemen seem to feel there's something there. Anything else, Brian?
I'm good to know.
Okay, Tom, you guys good? Chris, was there anything else you needed to convey to us?
I need some elaboration on some notes, but I'll ask after.
Okay, all right. Then, I'm gonna make a motion to enter into non-public to consider legal advice, under RSA 91A dash, let me try that again, under RSA 91A, :3, Roman 2, L, legal. I'll entertain a second.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Hart.
Chuck full of ride.
Hal and I, well, let's take a 5-minute break. We'll get back to that. All right, so we're back.
We're back live.
We're back live, so now we're going to go back into public session. No, I think we're probably all right, Tom. So, I'm gonna make a motion to leave non-public and enter into public session.
Chuck Fuller, second.
Second by Mr. Fuller. Roll call vote, please.
Chuck Fuller, aye.
Aye.
Hal and I. All right, now we're into our public session. Does anybody feel that the previous discussion in non-public needs to be sealed for any reason?
No, I guess I'm good.
I didn't see a real reason there. All right then. In that case, I think we're ready to adjourn.
I make a motion we adjourn?
Do we need to vote on that? Seal and non-seal or no?
I think we don't have to vote on it, only if we were gonna seal it.
Oh, if we can seal it, good, okay. You said you made the motion?
Make a motion we adjourn?
I'll second.
And, roll call vote, Cahalan, aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, public.
Good night, one and all.
Seeing